The Mirror of the Soul. In a quiet town where mornings began with the soft singing of birds and the smell of fresh coffee drifting through open windows, lived a woman named Clara. Clara was known by many people. She greeted others politely, walked with confidence, and always seemed attentive to everything happening around her. But Clara had a habit that, over time, had quietly become the way she looked at the world. She always found something to criticize. If someone talked too much, she said they were dramatic. If someone spoke very little, she thought they were arrogant. If a neighbor walked too quickly, she said they were impatient. If someone laughed loudly, she would say they had no manners. Clara believed she simply had a special ability to see people as they truly were. But what Clara did not realize was that every harsh thought she carried was leaving a small shadow inside her own heart. With the passing of time, she began to feel strangely tired. It was not the tiredness of the body. It was deeper than that. A quiet heaviness that seemed to live somewhere inside her soul. Some days she would sit by her window watching people pass by, feeling that the world was full of flaws. Everything seemed imperfect. Everything seemed wrong. And without noticing, that way of seeing the world slowly began to take away her peace. One afternoon she decided to go for a walk in a park outside the town. She needed silence. She needed air. She needed something different. The park was old and beautiful. Tall trees swayed gently in the wind as if whispering ancient stories to anyone willing to listen. Clara walked slowly along a path covered with fallen leaves. Then she noticed something unusual. Hidden among the trees stood a small stone structure she had never seen before. It was not a house, and it did not look like a chapel. It was more like a circular pavilion made of aged stone. The door was open. Above the entrance hung a simple wooden sign that read, "The Mirror of the Soul." Clara frowned with curiosity. "What a strange name," she murmured quietly. Still, something about the place drew her in. She stepped inside. The room was silent. Not an empty silence, but a deep and peaceful one, as if the place had been waiting for someone to arrive. In the center of the room stood a large mirror. It was old, framed with dark carved wood. A beam of light coming through a small window fell directly across its surface. Clara walked closer. She expected to see nothing more than her reflection. But when she looked into the mirror, something was different. At first she thought the light was playing tricks on her eyes. But the reflection seemed alive. It was as if the mirror did not simply show her face, but something deeper. Memories, emotions, hidden truths. Suddenly an image appeared in the mirror. She saw herself criticizing a neighbor. Her eyebrows were tight, her expression cold. Then another scene appeared. The woman Clara had always thought was arrogant was walking quickly through the street. But the mirror revealed something Clara had never imagined. The woman was rushing because her child was sick and she was desperate to get home. Another image followed. The quiet man Clara believed was proud sat alone in his house, struggling with a deep loneliness that no one around him had noticed. Then another scene appeared. The woman who laughed loudly in the marketplace was laughing that way because it was the only way she could hide her pain. The images continued appearing like pages of a book, turning slowly in front of Clara's eyes. Her chest tightened, then the mirror changed again. Now it was no longer showing other people. It was showing Clara. She saw moments from her own past. She saw days when she had felt invisible. She saw times when she had been judged unfairly. She saw the insecurities she had buried deep inside her heart. And suddenly something became clear. Many of the things she had criticized in others were reflections of wounds she herself still carried. She had not been criticizing others out of cruelty. She had been protecting parts of herself that had never healed. Clara took a slow breath. For the first time in a long time she felt something new. Understanding. She realized that every person she passed on the street was carrying struggles no one else could see. Hidden battles. Silent fears. Quiet hopes. She stood in front of the mirror for a few more moments. Her reflection now looked softer. Her eyes looked calmer. When she finally stepped outside the pavilion, the park looked exactly the same as before. The trees were still swaying in the wind. The sky still glowed with the light of the setting sun. But Clara was not the same. She walked with a lighter heart. On the path she saw a woman speaking loudly on her phone. Before, Clara would have judged her immediately. This time she simply smiled. Maybe the woman was celebrating good news. Maybe she was trying to hide her pain. Maybe she was simply living her story. Clara continued walking quietly beneath the trees. And as she did, she understood something deeply important. When we stop looking at others with harsh eyes, the world begins to feel lighter. Because many times what we believe we see in others is only a reflection of something within ourselves that is still learning to heal. And when we choose compassion instead of judgment, something beautiful happens. The world changes. And so do we. If this story touched your heart in any way, I invite you with warmth and kindness to subscribe. Your presence helps this community grow with love, with hope, and with stories that seek to bring light to the soul. Subscribe, and walk with me on this journey where every story is a small mirror reminding us to see the world with a gentler heart.